What's up, YouTube? It's PJ Chess here, back with another video. So I had a tournament recently. It was last Thursday. I went 1 win, 2 losses, so I didn't play amazing. But I will show the game, same as I show the wins. I played a master, as you may have clicked on the video because of that. That game will be first. You'll see that very quickly. Then I'll show my win, then I'll show my other loss. So some good games all around. It sucks that I was able to get 1 win, but that's what happened. Before I get into it, make sure you subscribe, like, follow, share. I guess not follow, just subscribe. But let's get straight into the first game, and this is I played white here. 85% accuracy. My opponent had 85.7. 2300 from both of us, but just the times of the games where my accuracy happened was just very unfortunate. So I start with d4, he goes pawn to d5, bishop f4, let me turn this down actually, and then he goes pawn to c5. E3, knight c6, c3, knight to f6. Now, I started with this first part because there's really nothing happening here. I also did not love my position at this point as well. I played him before, and I played against this same setup before, and I lost. And the reason I felt bad at this point, because I did the same thing. Why I did is because of this c5 move. Now, this is the second move of the game. I guess I should have explained this. Yeah, I don't see this very often when I play the London. I play the London a lot if you follow my account, so I played it, again, just a whole lot of times. But when they play c5 second, I've not seen that as nearly as much. I wish I could go through like my games in like a database, but I bet if I pulled it up, it would show that I've played against e6 or bishop f5 or knight f6 way more than c5. So all of this is the London, and it is what I play. This is what I have the least experience in. I need to study to get better, so when I see it, then I'll be able to play against it. But yeah, I went c3, knight to f6, bishop d3, queen here to b6, and queen to c1. Trying to guard the b2 pawn. b3 is better. The problem with chess sometimes is I played 3 before against the same person. Actually, I played this master a couple times. I'm like a half a point and 5 losses, so horrible win percentage. But the point is that I played b3 before and I lost in that game. So I want to do something different with queen c1. But because of the move order, I could have went b3 actually. So it is kind of sucked that I could do this and I just didn't, because I played it before and lost because of it. But he makes a mistake here, bishop g5. When I played the game, this did not feel like a mistake whatsoever. I thought it was an amazing move because it cuts off, like, you know, it just messes up my structure, my side of the board. Knight f3 doesn't feel right anymore. Knight e2 at the moment doesn't feel right anymore. So I go knight to d2, which is the third best move. h3 was better. I did consider it, but I was just like, okay, I'm not fully developed. I have 2 knights on the back rank. Knight to f3 doesn't work. Let me go knight to d2. And I also was thinking I can go rook to b1 at some point to get behind this pawn, so that's why I went for that, although it was not the best decision. They go knight here to h5, bishop slides back. Taking the pawn apparently was a lot better. I gotta be honest, didn't even consider that. Bishop g3 was almost instantaneously. We trade e5. I take the c5 pawn, which is funny, because here it's the best move, but here it's an inaccuracy, so chess is interesting. They take it back with the bishop. I go bishop e2, trade, castles, queen c2. And the reason queen c2 I thought was such a good move is they can't stop me from queenside castling because of queen to f5 potentially looking to win both of those pawns. They go here, which cuts off queen f5. It also creates a hole, and this is where I actually thought I could win the game, and I was right in a way. I could have won this game, as you'll see shortly. I was like +3 at a point, but a queenside castle, knight here to e5, king side to b1, and knight to g4. When they knight to g4, I didn't think this was winning. Honestly, I didn't really see. I see that they're looking for that, and I see that this is as well. So you would think that means I go rook d to f1, so that there's only one fork. So, and it's actually in the game I go rook h f1, which is the best move. And you may be wondering why it is, because this, like, say there's 3 forks here. I guess or 2 forks. There's a fork on the queen and the rook, and a fork on the rook and the rook. So you may be wondering why did I go into that? No, they can sacrifice, because I just didn't think it worked, and I was right. Everything I was right about most of the middle game stuff except one move, and I was correct. So when they sacrifice, it doesn't make sense, and especially here, because this makes no sense whatsoever. I gotta be honest. Even though they beat me, taking the rook first is the second best move. I think it's like by far worse than queen a6, honestly, because now if you see the position, all right, I guess this is maybe not that specifically. It's more this move is the mistake that I want to harm. E3, because I get to take the queen, and now the pawn structure is horrible. So I say all that to say I'm very upset that I lost this game. But now knight here to b3, the best move. I go here to get away from it. Knight to f3, I thought dampened my rook's attack here. So now you see they have to react. Go king c2. This is heartbreaking to play through. I could have beat the master for the first time rated, but I couldn't. So we trade there. I take the pawn, and you're wondering, like, how does this guy lose this game? It'll come up in like the next 2 moves, sadly. G3, and this is just a perfect defense. There's no pawn, and this is why I said it's such a bad move. And it just missed. I feel like that was a blunder. If they play anyone that is relatively competent, I think white wins this game. It's because there's nothing that can kick this. Now, this is an outpost. these two will always guard each other, and because of that, this pawn will always guard that. They'll never be able to break in on this side because my knight and rook are so active, and this side is obvious they have double pawns. So looking at this again, this is just crazy. But rook e3, king d2, f5, and you may be wondering, okay, how do you lose this game? It's because chess, you can make a mistake, and you can make it at the wrong time. Rook x f5. I was like, oh, free pawn. And when he did rook x e2, it was just heartbreaking. Now, if I just go rook to h1, then I'm winning. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm winning if I just go rook h1. As I just get my rook on their side of the board. Even, I mean, anything versus taking the pawn. I was just feeling greedy. I was like, oh, I get some more pawn. This guards this. This guards this. But this is a tactic that I do a lot, overloading a piece. And this is why it's so frustrating. I've done overloading. And here, I just decided to take. I didn't even notate after this, I'm not going to lie. But this is what happened. And this is just game over. As you can see, there's a rook and 4. Now, the pawn structure doesn't matter. They just run. And if you want a visual of what happened, the rook gets to f2 and the king, and I just kind of go shuffle back and forth. The king gets there, and then I just resign because my knight's going to fall as well. But I did have one in position versus a master. Again, this is like the second or third time this has happened to me. I think it's more of a mental hurdle at this point because I'm clearly showing I can play with masters. I don't know if you guys have seen some of the other videos. I don't think I've posted my other games with masters. I think this is the first one. So yeah, this should be interesting. But I can hold my own. I just always make like a mistake or a blunder, and it's against this particular person. This is the second winning position that I was winning in the end game, and I just blundered in one move. One time it was made in one that I just let up. I don't know. I think it's a mental hurdle. Once I beat a master, I think I'll have my percentage will shoot up from like 0 to like 20 or 30 because I know that I can compete. I'm just like, oh, I was thinking about it too much. Like in this position, I was like, dude, I'm up against a master. I'm up against I'm about to win, about to beat a master. And I blundered, just moving too quickly, too excited. And that's sometimes chess is not always a skill. I mean, it's a skill. I'm not saying it doesn't have skill. It's not always a skill in the sense of on-board play, but it's mental. I didn't have the mental composure in the moment because obviously, if you would have shown me this online, I've never done this. But in the moment when I feel like, oh, I'm about to win, I see a free pawn, just it happened. So this is how I lost the second game. Very heartbreaking. I just sat there for a second like, dude, another opportunity blown. But we keep going. This is the first game, actually, the game that I won. I played like a 2400, and I didn't even get to show the cool part because if you don't know how chess tournaments work, you don't actually notate the full game if you're not doing a plus 30-second increment. And we do plus 5. So once you're going to 5 minutes, you can not notate to try and save time, essentially. So we have the first 20 moves. I'll try and give a like approximation of what happens, but I actually went in some pretty cool fashion. But you can get an idea of what happens when we get to the end of this 20 moves. But e4, e5, knight f3, knight f6, bishop c4. This I know is a miss. I played the Petrov a lot, so I knew this was the wrong move. I take the pawn, take d5, bishop e2. Now here I make a mistake, queen g5. This is an accuracy. I thought that I knew, or I remember watching it, or going over the game where queen g5 with the bishop e2 was the best move. This is wrong. Although I will say this move has changed my stance the way that I play. That I want to play more aggressive because this isn't an accuracy. And he took a while to find knight g4, and I took like 10 minutes here to go just take the knight. And the funny thing is I didn't even think taking the knight was a great move. But I'd already spent 10 minutes, and I came to this tournament late. This is the first round, as I mentioned. So I already was down, I think, 3 minutes on the clock, and it's a 25-minute game. And I'm at like 10 minutes on move 5, what is this, 6? And I said, okay, I just gotta make a move. I was trying to calculate if h4 or f5 worked. And actually, I'll just show you why I decided not to. So if you go h5, I think the issue here, yeah, it's just here. This is the issue. And this is still fine. And then kind of the same thing with f5. I was like, okay, they can just go d3. Like, this is why I decided not to go for this line. But I wanted to make it work because in my mind, this is losing for white, which I was just wrong about. Queen g5 was not the right response. There is a line in this where queen g5 is, but this was not it, so I just made a mistake here. I take the knight so I don't lose any more time. And again, I knew this wasn't the best move, but I was like, I have to do something. I can't just sit here for the whole 20 minutes and make this mistake. So I took with the knight, I take with the bishop, I go knight here to f6. I said, okay, whatever. I miscalculated. The game is still going on. And something I tell myself while I'm playing is a grandmaster will win this game. Now, obviously, not a grandmaster. I want to be very clear. But I do that to calm myself down. Like, dude, it's not over yet. Like, I messed up to start, but I just got to reorient. I just retreat, knight f6. There's nothing there anymore. I had to reset what I was doing. And after this game, I actually thought I was going to have a great tournament because, you know, you'll see. I have some nice maneuvers. But he goes bishop f3. I go bishop here to e7. Castles, castles, pawn to c4, and pawn to c6. Again, I feel confident. Like, my queen, I see the eval bar. I cannot see it while I play it in real life game at all. My queen's on a good file. This, it just feels like it's pressure. Like, I know they have to push the pawn, but I don't know. I don't know why I made this arrow. But this is the arrow I'm more focused on. I'm attacking the king. I feel like my knight king. We are imbalanced, a knight for a bishop, or I guess a knight for a bishop, the light square one. But I don't know. I just felt the confidence that I was the one attacking. I have the pressure here. And sometimes just attacking creates issues for your opponent, even if it's not a great attack. Just the act of them feeling on defense. And I actually suffered for that in the next game that I lost, which is the third game. And you'll see, but I just think attacking is a very good principle to do in general. They go b3, and that has kind of changed because I always thought that, but I'm generally a positional player. If you watch my videos, if not, you should make sure you subscribe. But in general, I'm very positional, very strategic. And playing this last tournament, even though I won and lost some, I just think if I attack more, I will probably have better results versus playing it safe all the time. That was a lesson I learned. So even when you lose, don't lose the lesson. I go knight b to d7, pawn to d4. As I mentioned earlier, why my hesitation for going h5 was because of the discovered attack. They finally play with b4 to get in the center. I go queen here to g6, bishop to f4, rook f to e8, h4, knight to e4, which is a great move. Now, knight to e4 is such a great move for, well, one, you have to play it. I guess is the first reason. If you don't play it, say a5, which, I mean, I would never play that, but, is this not losing? Here, queen here, is this not, oh, because the bishop's under attack. Okay, well, the issue that I was looking at is there's a pin. Oh, but the knight guard, that's not even a huge problem. I guess also that the queen doesn't have a lot of squares. So that's why I went there. Clearly, I was a bit mistaken in my logic, but I found the best move, knight to e4. They go pawn to h5, queen slides over, and I'm just defending, maneuvering, and I'm +1. And the reason I think that it's +1, they're not developed with the knight. The bishops don't have great, like they're on a long diagonal theoretically, but this light square diagonal is not open whatsoever. And the dark square diagonal is completely open, but that's sort of the issue. It's completely open. I have no need to get on it. And if I needed to, bishop d6, I can trade it off. And my knight is just the best minor piece in the game right now. They slide back to h2, and this is where I was like, okay, calm down. I shouldn't be able to win. And again, as mentioned, this is a 19... Oh, I don't think I mentioned it in this because I had to record the video. This is a 1900 I'm playing right here. And I'm 1884 at the time. So we're about equal. But if I win this, I'm feeling good. But they blunder here with g3. I don't know why it's a blunder. I thought it was a bad move. But I didn't think it was a blunder. And I only thought it was a bad move because I mean, I'm sure you can see as well. The bishop just locked in. I see why they played it, though. Like, I don't really... It's kind of hard to say. Like, if I was white, I could see myself playing it. I think their hesitancy was here, and then if I were to take, I just feel like I can lift my rook pretty easily. Knight gets in, so it's easy to say with the eval bar that this wasn't a great move. Like, this is a blunder, and the eval bar is obviously not human. But if you're playing this game in real life, and you went from sort of being on the attack to now I'm on the attack, and also you have to think about it. You want to keep the bishop pairs an advantage. So I do understand why they played it. I thought it was a bad move from when I was playing black in real life. But I also can see, like, I would play that sort of, like, it makes sense if you think, like, okay, I have the bishop pair, I want to keep that. I don't want, what did I say? I don't want them to take this, or because the king is open. Like, their knight's all the way over here. Like, I don't know. I kind of understood why they played it. It's a blunder, but sometimes that happens. I go knight to g5, bishop to g2, capture the pawn, rook a to d8, which is the best move. And that is because of a tactic that actually I'll show in a second. Queen g4 and knight e6. So this is the last move that I make. The general way I win this game, I don't remember their next move, but say, where did they go? Maybe it was rook here. I don't know what it was, but whatever it was, oh no, yeah, it was, I remember now. It was rook over, because I go bishop here. And bishop to c5 is a move that pretty much wins the game. And actually, I remember the game now. It's knight to f3 was the follow-up. I end up going bishop takes, I believe, knight here, queen up, rook over, and then I go f5. So this is how I'm winning the game, essentially. That they're losing here, as you can see. I'm about to take the knight. So that was the next couple moves. But that's why you want to develop, and that is sort of the issue of what happened here, is because, or no, oops, this is the wrong one. Because of knight e6, rook d1, I go here. And the problem is they can't take because the rook is just a discovered attack. And this is also why I was very proud of my game. It's a very attacking game, very pressure heavy. They have these central pawns, and I don't have any central pawns. What I do have is development. My rook's in harmony. And the reason you have to go rook a to d8, which I mentioned earlier, is so you're guarding this knight. Because say you did all that, but they could just take the knight, like, after you move the bishop out the way. Like, it doesn't really make as much sense. I guess when the queen was over there is more because the queen just moved there. But that's why I went rook a to d8. That's how I go bishop c5. So you can imagine, as I just went through, how I'm able to win the rest of this game. And, you know, some more stuff happened. They end up getting their rook down. You see this pawn's hanging. When I was playing, I was like, okay, I just got to drop the pawn. Like, there's no way I can keep this. And they ended up going for a checkmate, and I block it at the last second with queen f6, and I end up getting up a rook in the end game. This pawn gets down. The problem with this position is my pieces are just more active, and I was able to get this win. The only win of the tournament, sadly, but it was an amazing win, I must say. But here's the last game. I played a 1581, so a bit of a rating difference. But I don't know. I just got outplayed. Like, it's a rating difference, but I can't say anything about it. Like, it was frustrating in the moment, but now that I've got to sit with it, they just played way better than me. So sometimes you gotta accept it. They had like a 2400. Like, you know, it's not like you both played bad. They just played much better. 97.5 in the opening, 87.2, and a brilliancy to boot with it. I know what the brilliancy is. I haven't even gone over it on chess.com yet, but I'm pretty sure it'll be knight captures d4. That's my call. And as you'll see if you watch the rest, if it is that or not. But d4, pawn here to d5, or it's e4. It's one of those two pawns. You'll know which one I meant when we see it. But bishop f4, knight here to c6, rook, pawn to e3, bishop f5, and pawn here to c3. Now this is an opening that I feel very confident in because knight c6 I'm pretty sure is not the best response to this. Was it the best move? Yeah, it's not the best response to London. So I'm already like, oh, psh, and that is a horrible mindset to have. When I play tournaments, when I play people higher or lower, I never have anything before the game like confidence or fear, to be honest with you. It happens during the game. When I saw knight to c6, I'm like, okay, I play this a lot. I know how to play against it. I should be okay. And now you should never do that. You should always, that's just a bad, I got to work on that, and I will. But knight here to f6, pawn to h3, pawn here to e6, knight f3, captures, and bishop d3, captures. And again, at this point, I'm feeling amazing, not because of anything that they did, but I played this two knights, with no bishops on the board, hundreds of times. Like, literally, I'm not even exaggerating, hundreds of times. So I'm feeling very confident, very capable in this position. But, you know, as you'll see, he just completely outmaneuvers me in an amazing fashion. He goes knight to e4, knight bd2, f5, a4. This is the first step of wrong. And you may be wondering why. Like, it's 0.1, so it's not like it's a huge deal. It's the first step of wrong because I'm looking at the queen side for whatever reason. I know why I was, because I was like, okay, if I got a5, I'll control this, try and control, because they control the center. But there's nothing there, which is the issue. They castle, I castle, rook to c8, queen here to b5. Again, just stepping in the wrong direction. The eval bar is not telling the full story. They're slightly better, but there's just not an attack on this side. And it's easy to see now that I'm reviewing it, but during the game, I just saw something here that I cannot explain. I don't know what I was looking at. This is such a bad move, because if you go queen b5, they obviously see you're trying to take the b7 square. So very self-critical here. I do not get what I tried to do. But queen goes here to e7 and go pawn to a5 again. Step in the wrong direction. I actually focused on this other side of the board where they clearly have an attack brewing. And now that I'm seeing, like, and I saw it too. That's why this loss was so frustrating for me. Not even because of the rating difference. Like, I know it's going to lose points, but that's part of trying to be master. You're not going to just continually increase or everyone be a master. Like, it's just not realistic. It's more because of the way with the attack. I saw it and just decided to do nothing because I didn't think it worked until it worked. And then it's like, okay, I could have done something previously. They go pawn to a6, queen back to b3, the best move. Pawn to h5, and this is where I lose the game. Now, h5 in itself, I did not think was a good move. I was right. It's not a good move. The problem is, it's not a good move for a different reason than I thought. I thought that there was no kingside attack, which is not true. There is a kingside attack, and I should have went h4, which is the best response to it. But I didn't think anything on the kingside could happen. The issue that they made is there's just nothing can happen yet, is a better way to put it. Versus I thought nothing can happen at all. So we both misjudged this position. Because I misjudged it, worse ends up not mattering. Go c4, looking for this exchange, g5, and then knight back to h2. Immediate miss. I should have went d5, and not going d5 sucks because I genuinely calculated this. The reason I didn't is because of here, and I guess calculated. I couldn't see a follow-up move, but knight here is actually the follow-up. So I did see that, and I just couldn't find knight b6. So that's kind of frustrating that I didn't see that because I was considered d5. The reason I did consider d5 is because I knew I had to counterattack. That's the one thing that when there's a kingside attack, you have to attack back to them. So, and if you can't see why I would consider it, is because of this long open diagonal, this sort of like here. So I did think about it, just did not play it. Again, just a bad decision. But pawn here to d5, he found an amazing move. I can move my knight here to b3, b6, which is the best move, attacking the rook. But also because you can't really go anywhere else. Like, it says best move, But this is kind of a cheap. I mean, I guess it's not saying it's brilliant, but you can't go anywhere else. Like you can't go knight here, you can't go knight here, right? Because well, I mean, you could go knight to e5, but it just creates a weakness after there. Knight back, obviously you're not gonna go there. There's a huge attack. You can't go back because you drop it. So this was kind of easy to find. Rook slides up, the best move. Obviously, you don't want to lose the rook. Why this is better than over? I think it's because you can stack, which is what they end up doing. So queen back to d1, and I'm just in awe of this position during the game. At this point, I realized that I messed up somewhere, that I shouldn't have left g5. Although I didn't see h4 until I analyzed it in Lee chess, so I can't say I saw that until like after the game. But during the game, I knew that here I was losing. I was like, dude, what are you doing? Like I was like, all I had to do was win this game, and I hit 1900, and I just couldn't win it. He goes queen here to f7. I go pawn to f3, the best move. Knight slides into g3, rook f2, queen slides forward, and knight to f1. Now, after knight f1, I was like, okay, do I have life? I might have life. Pawn slides up. I take the knight, rook to c2, which is a mistake. Rook f1 was better. I realized rook f1 was better later. Like, I don't realize it right when I make the move, but actually, I'll just go to the move that I realized it. Rook slides over to f7. Queen here to e1, and then queen. This one I realized that it's wrong because there's a way to win the game because of the triple stack. Let's say, okay, for an example, if I take here, there's forced mate. If I'm not mistaken, let's see the eval. Is this not forced mate? Check. Take. Wait, is this not mate? Oh no, wait, no. Oh, it's not. It's not. Okay. I don't know what I was looking at during the game. That's not checkmate. Okay. But yeah, rook a to c1. And it's still equal, but you could see if you don't have an eval bar, black just feels like they're winning there. They're very much in my position. They go pawn here to h4, which I thought was a mistake, funnily enough. So when he played that, I was like, oh, phew, like deep breath. I thought this was wrong, but apparently this is, or I actually already viewed this. I knew this was right. But this is just a great move because it now g4 is like a force to be reckoned with. Go queen here to d2. Oh, now it's the mate. Yeah. Now, I knew that I saw a mate somewhere, because now if you do this, this is checkmate, right? This, yeah, mate in one. This, okay. I would say I knew there was something. I moved my queen out the way, so I showed you at the wrong point in the video. But I go king here to f1. Again, another move I thought I saved the game, and it's just a horrible move, king f1. I guess because of here, but I thought I want to try and run my king this way. But I realized after pawn up, I was like, oh, I can't do that. So I take f4, and now this eval bar. It never goes away from this. It stays like this the rest of the game. Even though I don't notate the rest, you can very easily see how I lose the game. Queen h4, take the pawn, check, block. And I thought that I had a perpetual here, which is funny. Like I just misjudged this game completely. Queen h4, queen g2, and yeah, knight x d4. It was the brilliant. I thought so, because it is a genius move. And I took immediately because it's like, well, I have nothing else. Like, I might as well try. Rook captures check, king g1, and rook f2, rook f2. And I stopped notating here because of the time. And I remember the next couple moves, though. Rook captures f2. And here, with the... I thought I went rook to c8 in the game. I was curious, does queen h1 work? It loses a queen. How? Rook h2. What if I go here? Then you go q. Okay, so I was losing anyway. But they would have to find mate and 8. I go rook here though, which I mean it's really just, this makes no sense. And then I just did this, and then I went like here, and then take. And you can see that I just cannot win this game. Funnily enough, I might have been able to guard if the pawn's not there, but the pawn is there. That's why the whole point of the attack, I end up losing here. So I went 1 and 2. Or from 1884 to 1871. It was a little frustrating because I was like, man, it's almost at 1900. The reason this was such a huge one for me, if you know how USCF works, it gives you a rating floor. So your rating floor is your rating minus 200 and round it down. So right now my floor is 1600. If I win this tournament, I get a 1700 rating floor, and that means that when I'm trying to hit master, I'll never drop from 1700 again in my life. So that's why it was so important to me to win this, because I'm like, if I win this, I hit 1900, I get a new floor. And that was another added pressure besides hitting master, which is a pressure every tournament that I put on myself. It was just another milestone to hit. So now if I mess up, I have some more cushion. Now my floor is still 1600, and I thought about it too much, and they took advantage of it. Not even that, they just outplayed me here. Gotta give credit where credit's due. I went 1 and 2 again. Not the best result, but I only lost 13 points. You gotta look at the bigger picture. and I'm still positive on the year. But yeah, got another tournament Thursday, got some more after that. I will keep going. I'll keep documenting my journey. Hope you guys can enjoy this video. This is longer than usual, but I really want to go in depth in some of the positions. But thank you guys for watching. Have a good day, and I hope you enjoyed the video.